Coming this summer.
Hey yo, nobody thinks that voice is cool anymore.
Q.
You!
Too late. Your mother already beat you to it. Daddy is drained.
Hey yo, what
The Kuva Quartakk. Other than myself and his mom, the Kuva Quartakk is coming this summer, and it is utterly devastating on the battlefield. Pick yours up this summer.
The base fire rate for the Kuva Quartakk could be better, and it should be. The magazine is actually quite nice, and you get about 20-ish shots if you stay aiming. Otherwise, if you hip fire, you get the full 88 shots. Reload speed is actually quite good. Crit chance is okay. Crit damage is below average. Status chance is above average. And it has a slightly higher impact weighting, which, if you know me, it makes every fiber of my being ache. Let's get into the build. So, yeah, I was doing that damage with Blast and Toxin. I do have a magnetic valence bonus. You can use whatever you like. The highly recommended ones for a safe pick would be Toxin, Heat, or Magnetic. I just happen to be running Citrine at the time, so that's what I have. So, let's go over the mods. Galvanized Chamber for multi-shot, Scope for crit chance, Aptitude for status chance and a bit more damage, and it does help actually on this weapon. Vigilante Supplies to help boost our crit chance a little bit more. Then we have, of course, Infected Mag, is what it should be. A little bit more crit chance, crit damage, and of course, Blast here. And then we have Primary Deadhead because it's still currently best in slot for a lot of cases. And look at this unique trait here. Uses auto-firing mode when hip firing and burst when aiming. Which I'm going to show you a little tech you can do with this weapon in particular, right here. If you go into options, and then you go into accessibility, you go down here, and you check this. Now what this does, for semi-auto weapons, checking this will allow you to hold down the trigger, and they will continue to fire. Now I'm mentioning this because the Kuva Quartakk has an interesting tech when you have this enabled. I'm going to demonstrate this tech here. So, I'm going to hold down the trigger hip firing, and then I'm going to aim, still firing automatic. And then, if you aim, hold down the trigger, and then let go, it will technically snapshot whatever fire rate you happen to be utilizing at that time. So, just a neat little tech. I think that's actually pretty cool. I like it whenever weapons have that. Now, this is a pretty straightforward build, and it does get work done, and I'm honestly astonished how much damage this thing can do, especially to an Acolyte without Corrosive at all. Just my Viral Priming pet that also has a few other elements, and then Blast and Toxin. Blast and Toxin by itself usually is not strong enough on a lot of weapons to really just do that much damage. So, I was blown away by this. I will say, if you did want to run Corrosive and Blast, and the reason that we're running Point Strike is because it already has a not-so-great fire rate, which is also why we're running Arcane Acceleration. But that's why I'm not running Crit Delay, because it's already quite slow, and you don't want to slow it down anymore. Here is the second build that I have, just a Corrosive and Heat build. Nothing special, basically all of the same mods, except, you know, we have Corrosion instead, and we got Hellfire here. But what I would say is, if you're going to run a build like this, make sure to use Ember when you go to farm for this weapon, so that way you have heat as your valence bonus. That way, you can take this out, and then you can put Prime Shred. Mainly because, with the Kuva Quartakk, it doesn't have any AoE at all, and it is a slower firing weapon, so in order to really help it out, punch through and fire rate is going to help a lot. Which is why I would suggest doing that. And to actually go ahead and keep Arcane Acceleration on with Prime Shred, because it really does make the weapon feel a lot better. In addition, I would say, if you wanted to make this better, and I'll go ahead and put the Riven prices up here. If you really, really love this gun, and you wanted to give it AoE, Corrosive and Blast would absolutely be the way to go. And what I would recommend is a Riven that has Blast on it, right, for the actual Riven, and then probably Fire Rate. So, that's probably going to be what you want. You don't actually it doesn't have to be fire rate, it can be reload speed or mag size or whatever, but as long as you get blast. And then whatever third positive and whatever negative doesn't affect you, that is going to really make this thing shine. Because if it was doing that much damage all without corrosive, I can only imagine how much tail this Kuva Corkscrew can actually put out with a solid Corrosive Blast build and fire rate. So if I had to, that would be my suggestion. Now I also do have this build here, an Acuity build, which does actually put out a decent amount of damage. I was again surprised. The other cool thing about this actually is that even with primary Acuity, you still have your 4 shots with this, which is great. It's very fantastic. But of course, you know, we have our crit chance to match with this, and of course galvanized aptitude, and you know what this does, and that, and this already, you already know what these do. Again with vigilante supplies and primary deadhead. As you can see, it did not unburst your burst fire. So those are the 3 builds that I have for y'all for the Kuva Quartakk, and I'm going to show you my pet here, which honestly is just a pretty basic primer pet, but I'm just showing you so that way you're completely aware of all of my damage sources. And the Riven just so that way you're aware, but nothing really crazy. But those are the builds, y'all. This is the one that I'll be using the most. This bad boy. This Kuva Quartakk Paddywhack Give a Dog a Bone is phenomenal. This hits harder than your stepdad, alright? This is a surprisingly powerful weapon. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and leave a like and a comment, because it helps the algorithm, as well as sharing with your friends and your enemies. I hope this video has helped you to enjoy Warframe just that much more. I hope you have a good day, a good night, and may RNG be in our favor.